Number 5.
Cryptis is a retro-inspired boomer shooter which features frantic run-and-gun gameplay created by a solo developer called DobiRX using Unreal Engine 5.2. It's a rather short game, but being available for free on Steam, it managed to get roughly 20,000 downloads and overwhelmingly positive reviews. When I reached out to the developer to hear a bit more about the backstory of Cryptis, DobiRX said that before starting work on this game, he spent roughly 1 year diligently learning Unreal Engine. He got into Unreal through Unreal Sensei's UE5 beginner tutorial and thought to himself how awesome it would be to create an FPS game in this environment. This first led him to create a small FPS called The Descent for the Brackeys Game Jam 2023. After that, he spent roughly 4 months making Cryptis, only using blueprints and not really seeing a need to use C++ for this project, since everything he needed was exposed to blueprints anyway and the project was heavily GPU bound. One interesting thing about the visuals of Cryptis is that the enemies aren't 3D models, but actually 2D sprites. He created these using the Anim to Sprite plugin that also automatically creates normal, specular, metallic, and emissive maps, giving even flat planes some depth and added detail. At first he animated the enemies using base Paper 2D, but later on moved to using Paper ZD on top of that for the animation blueprints and Anim Notify support. Releasing free games like this can definitely be a valid strategy, since the more people play it, the more feedback you get, and you can slowly build up a fanbase that might also be interested in your future commercial releases. Getting over 20,000 people to download your first Steam release is absolutely amazing. And after Cryptis, he started working on another free game called Harbinger, which I plan to cover in an upcoming episode.
Number 4.
Shotgun Wedding is an Unreal Engine 4 game created for the Mix and Game Jam 2020 over the course of 48 hours. It's a really fun action platformer in which you use a shotgun not only to destroy obstacles and enemies, but you also rely on the recoil to move around the map and through platforming sections. It features a 2D-3D hybrid look using pixel art for the sprites of the character and a 3D environment with pixel art textures. It ranked pretty high during the game jam, and out of 650 entries, it managed to reach rank 19 for gameplay and did also fairly well for art, sound, and creativity. The original game jam version of Shotgun Wedding can be played directly in the browser on itch.io, which means it must have been created with UE 4.24 or earlier before HTML5 support was removed. The download version features a new update with bug fixes, improvements, and extended content. According to the devlog on itch.io, Shotgun Wedding was created by a team of 3 members, with Rami, the lead developer, mainly focusing on programming, and his friends taking care of art assets and game design. In another blog post, the developers explained their desire to keep working on this game and maybe turn it into a full release during 2021. But sadly, it seems like that didn't happen, and with game dev, things often just don't go as planned.
Number 3.
Gigabash is a kaiju brawler and party game made with Unreal Engine 4, which released in August 2022. The game originally launched with 10 unique characters, all of them having unique attributes and special moves, with the combat being easy to pick up but complex enough to engage experienced players as well. Over time, the developer Passion Republic was able to strike deals for DLC characters to even include monster movie icons such as multiple monsters from Godzilla, Ultraman, and most recently the Power Rangers. I actually first played the game at Tokyo Game Show 2022 and instantly loved it, since it reminded me of War of the Monsters and Power Stone. And that also gave me a great opportunity to talk to the Malaysian dev team. They originally were an outsourcing studio mostly doing modeling and concept art, with Gigabash being their first actual game. They said that Unreal Engine's blueprint system and the fact that it already had many pre-built components allowed them to quickly prototype the game and really nail down the fun before going into full production. They also mentioned that the material system, ease of creating variety in graphics, and multi-platform support played part in them picking Unreal Engine. What blew me away though was that Passion Republic originally consisted of only artists, who then taught themselves blueprints and then later on even went on to writing code in C++. Outside of performing well on multiple platforms in terms of sales, they were also able to secure an epic mega grant, and overall I think this is a great success story.
Number 2.
Shrek 2 the game is a platformer and beat-em-up released in 2004, which was created using Unreal Engine 2. Various versions of the game differ drastically, with only the PC version by no wonder making use of Unreal. According to the cutting room floor, the game still includes leftovers from the Harry Potter games No Wonder created in the past, hinting at the fact that they either used those projects as the base or at least brought parts of them over into the Shrek game. And this is just another project that makes it very clear that even during the early days of Unreal, it could be used for many things outside of just first-person shooters. One thing I was delighted to find out was that there is a Shrek 2 dev kit and level editor by Master64 that uses the Unreal Engine 2 runtime to allow you to modify the game and make new levels. He also has a tutorial series that goes into many different aspects of how to use it, such as making boss fights, creating cutscenes, and much more. So messing around with these tools will allow you to experience the rich history of Unreal and feel for yourself how games were created about 2 decades ago.
Number 1.
Don't Scream is a short horror experience created with Unreal Engine 5. The main gimmick here is that the game listens to your microphone and you'll have to survive for 18 minutes without screaming. This made it a perfect fit for content creators, and many YouTubers and streamers around the world picked it up, leading to an impressive amount of sales. Initially released as an early access title, Don't Scream had an estimated net revenue of over $880,000 at the time of writing this section, even though the reviews were mixed. Predictable jump scares, the short runtime, and the fact that screaming is the only thing that can end the game were the main concerns. But the game received a lot of praise for the great atmosphere and amazing graphics, and a lot of those issues were resolved when the game left early access and launched the 1.0 version. Don't Scream was co-developed by Joe Hansen and Digital Cyber Cherries, who shared a behind-the-scene look through an interview on UnrealSource.com. Their reason for picking Unreal 5 were the improved workflow, better graphics, and fully dynamic lighting made possible through Lumen. When asked about their development process, they mentioned that they used a mix of blueprints and C++, but leaning mostly on the C++ side of things, and they even created a custom framework they're also using for this game. They also mentioned how they made heavy usage of sound libraries and Unreal Engine Marketplace assets for the environment and characters. However, the quality of assets can vary drastically, and you'll want to make sure to make edits to them in Engine to bring everything together. It's a great interview, and I recommend you check it out from the link in the description after watching this video. As always, thanks to my awesome patrons, and now also my awesome YouTube channel members.